Hi guys, and welcome back to Nail on Sunday podcast with me, Chris, and my beautiful wife, who is straight out of Safari. If I seen you in Safari, do you know what I'd do? I would shoot my gun straight at you, honey.
Okay, that's really disturbing.
Have you washed your hair?
I did.
Is this the
fudge! I meant to check if my hair was okay, but yeah, I washed it.
Honey, you're beautiful. I wouldn't let you go on the pod if you weren't, but you're always beautiful, so I would just let you go on the pod. This is what feels like the 28th item of content I've filmed this week, but I got more on that in a second. What are we talking about this week, honey?
So we're talking about, is it worth working with brands for anything else other than paid per piece of content?
And really, this is a reaction to something that came out this week in the media.
Well, I mean, it's not
Social
really
media,
media. It's just something that somebody said, and it got me thinking. And I think that we should do more things like this, like as like things happen in the nail industry. That's what we kind of started Nail on Sunday for. Is it's meant to be like news.
Nail news on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Is the
Not
actual
just
tagline.
talking about random topics. So that's what I want to do is as people say things, it spurs thoughts and feelings in me. And I came up with another one today as well because it was thoughts and feelings of something that's happening in the nail industry right now with one particular account. And that is going to be the next we record. Might even do it tomorrow.
Holy smokes. Okay, honey. So what have we been up to this week? I'll start because I almost started there. I have basically just been looking at everyone through. What just wrecked the mic? I've been just looking at everyone through the lens this week. I've recorded so much content for so many things because you and I are actually going to try and take a holiday at some point soon. And we have to have a bank of all these things. So really, I feel like I've got square eyes. What have you been up to this week, darling?
Nothing. Again, the weeks are just flying by, aren't they? We have so... You're right there.
My plant realised I had to access mic box. Everything's about mic. Talking about mic, I've got something to say about mic. So I'm moving my plant.
Okay.
Swinging on my tree. My chair's swinging on my tree. Honey, as this goes out, we're almost to 6 months from the pod. They started. Yeah. Because we're going to have like there's been some fillers. Technically, I'm recording podcast now, but there is some other things out. I think it's about time we had a little upgrade on the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these mics are great. You pick up everything. Sometimes a little bit too much. Roadcaster's great. MacBook is excellent. You know what? These little boom arms, you know how much they cost me?
How much?
Less than £10 each.
Wow.
I think these guys need an upgrade. And you were just saying, I don't like it when it's in my face. I might get you like booms that come up the way.
Right.
That'd be good.
I'm happy with this, but sure.
And do you know what? Like, if anyone knows, if you can go into like an Etsy store, one of the covers, let's say Nail on Sunday.
A boom arm cover.
Boom arm.
For the guy that doesn't like spending money, let me tell you right now, he loves spending money on crap.
No, this week.
No, he does.
This week because I've got a new credit card and I spend get those magical sweet air mile points. I'm into spending money, but I will get sometimes cheapish, but something a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, Chris loves buying cheap and buying twice.
Also, these mics, camera stands.
Oh, but
they're
don't
not
worry.
actually ours. But I'm going to upgrade.
Yeah, I think one of our suppliers is sending us some for free though.
Oh,
Tom. Moonlight Tom.
Oh, no, like Tom. All right, I'll take that.
I think he is.
Thanks, Tom. Big Tommy boy. What have you been up to this week, honey?
Just gone over that.
What?
You asked me that not 3 minutes ago. And I said, not much. Just working away. Then you started talking about your plant.
Welcome to the brain of someone who has
what have I been
ADHD.
working on? We have so much newness coming this year. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, we keep saying this every episode. But yeah, it's going to keep us really busy for a really long time.
I think the thing is, when we record the pod, quite often we're working on something, and by the time the next pod comes around, although this week we've recorded this week.
No, but this is the second podcast. We might try and do another one tomorrow.
Do you know what it is? I was actually recording a podcast today. Not recording. I wasn't recording, editing a podcast this morning. 7 a.m. I woke up. Supposed to go to the gym. I thought, what? I'm actually running out of time for stuff. I have to just start editing. So I took the dogs for a walk and started editing. And I got 10 minutes into it. Now, I'd say, like, the first 10 minutes of a pod, as in the length of time that I edit a pod, It's really about 2 hours because that's when you do all your camera angles, get everything perfect and synced up and all that sort of stuff. You make Rebecca look slightly less beautiful than she is in real life, so that she, we're on more of a par, more of a
Right.
balance, right? And I started freaking out because I thought to myself, I've already edited this pod and I published it last week, but I didn't. It's just because we recorded it so long ago. Anyway,
I know. I'd like to get 6 episodes ahead. This one we're doing right now is us 3 ahead.
yeah, and we've got one in the bank for that one in March.
Yeah, but that's still us 3 ahead, is what I mean. So if we'll need to do, the problem is, right, next week we can do 2. Okay. Week after, we can definitely only do 1.
Yep.
And the week after that, we can definitely only do 1.
Yep.
And then the week after that, we could do 2. And the week after that, we could do 2.
You could just round up because people are going to turn off the pod if you keep just naming numbers here.
We're not going to get 6 ahead by the time we go on holiday.
Okay.
But we could probably get 5 ahead.
We should record a podcast live from Stagecoach on after the. Would you guys like to hear that? Lucy Pastorelli is like a big lightweight. She has like 1 glass of wine. Like, way!
I think you're the lightweight. In the group, you are the biggest lightweight out of all 4 of us.
And I definitely drink the most. But
Sean. No, you drink more than Sean. You drink faster than Sean.
Yeah,
Sean is crazy. He would be absolutely steaming, but nobody would ever know. I've never seen anything like it.
Get happy smile.
You would never know that he's drunk. It's wild. Whereas Chris, 2 beers and like his eyes go and and it's really irritating.
Yeah, so we're going to a festival. It's called Stagecoach. Big. We're going to be blazing. Oh, look, I've actually got my Fair Drop t-shirt on today. I don't know what Fair Drop is. Go look up online. But look at the back of it. I don't know if you guys can see on YouTube. Describe it, Rebecca.
It's a map of Glasgow Airport.
Map of Glasgow Airport. You get one for your home airport when you sign up. Glasgow Airport. My local airport. Fly out of there.
Is that right?
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, that did sound a bit weird. Okay.
Glasgow Airport, that's my airport.
Bring it back together, Christopher. Do you know what the thing is? I woke up this morning and I started powering the energy drinks.
I cannot stand Chris drinking energy drinks. I've told you to stop it. I do not like it. I don't believe in them.
Someone was asking me today what it's like to get to 42 because they are in their mid-30s.
Who asked you that, Matt?
No, one of the staff. And they were saying, what's it like, because they're starting to feel like they're adult in their mid-30s.
Yeah, well, that's... Yeah.
And I said, I started adulting when I was like 18. And I think this is different for kids. Here we go on a rant. I feel like as soon as I left the house, like my parents' house, that's when I started adulting. And like now, I feel like I want to revert back to being a kid.
Oh, yes. He said that he wanted to dye his hair platinum blonde this morning. And I said, don't you dare. You are too old for that,
And the thing is, I have an adult to look after me. She doesn't really look after me. She tells me what not to do.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Oh, you tell me what to do.
Yeah, but you tell me what not to do. I tell you what to do. You tell me what not to do.
Yes.
I keep you on the straight and narrow. You try and course correct me.
So
path.
what we're saying is I'm letting you live your life, but I'm saying don't do that. That's a risk and that's stupid.
Yeah. Fun, please.
That's it. Can I just say how good it smells in here, by the way, with that sanitizer? Chris was using the new sanitizer. This will be launched way by the time this one comes out. Happy Endings sanitizer. He was using it to clean in here before we started, and it smells flipping fantastic.
Tell you why I was cleaning in here, because we are running out of space fast downstairs.
Yeah.
And do you know what I was thinking? The amount of meetings that we've been having in different locations this week. Mm-hmm. The VIP suite, can't talk about. It's another location. The pod studio has been used for multiple meetings and multiple things this week. The point where I had to come in here and clean today because we're discussing. Thanks, Alex. Didn't do your job yesterday. Just back off holiday. Doesn't care. And there's just been meetings everywhere with different departments for different things. When we move into this new building, what's your plans for like office? Are you gonna do like staff, like business class when you back to front? Or are you gonna have just a big round table?
No.
Nice of the round table?
No, they're gonna be like angled. They're not like back to front or anything, but they're like angled, where I was looking at desks that like 3 or 4 people can fit around, but they're still like, they have their own desk, their own space, and it's got separators.
Are you gonna have departments together?
Undecided.
What would be your department?
Every department.
But if you were to have, like, not to pick favourites.
Well, Laura and I were talking about this, and Laura and I feel that we should just work together and then we would get a lot more done.
I think that's incorrect, because Laura has her own new department that she has to work with.
So what do I get?
But I worked this out in my head.
Sam?
Get Sam,
Mm-hmm.
graphic designer.
Yeah, but I always have a list for Sam.
The problem is Sam and Rebecca now currently
We're at two ends of the
different
table.
so they just shout over.
We do.
everyone.
We lean forward, we lean back, and she goes, picks up her computer and shows me. I also feel like we should have static computers. Think about that? No? And I have decided 100%.
Do you know what you can get? You can get your laptop, it just plugs in HDMI to one of those big screens.
Yeah, no, I can, and you can use your laptop as the middle screen, and you clip the other two screens on the side. I looked it up, I looked at them, it looks fantastic. I need it, and I'll tell you what I need the 3 screens for. This is the longest intro ever. Okay, so I switch between Safari and Chrome all the time, right? But then I have all my spreadsheets that I need to find as well. So if I had all my spreadsheets on one, Google on another, Chrome on another, life would be so much easier.
Okay,
like it would genuinely make my life easier to have that. But as it stands right now, with the space that we have, I would literally be taking up half the desk if I had 3 screens. I take up half the desk anyway with all my mess, but
yeah, I'm glad you said that.
It's true.
So I would suggest Sam and Alex PA at your little pod.
Sam and who?
Alex PA. Also known as
Okay.
Alex the Lion.
Alex the Lion, yes.
Alex the Lion. That's what we call her. Yeah, I think getting her into the whole PA like function, I think it's good for her. I think it's
Okay.
Do you know who I'd have in my group?
BJ.
No, nobody. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to sit with me. Nobody likes my ideas. Anyway, that's enough. I'd probably chill with BJ. In fact, BJ and I. BJ is our web designer.
Web developer.
Web developer, not designer. Web developer. Him and I were on the VIP suite for long for another day, and we were just bumping out lo-fi beats one day, and we were getting so much work done. It was excellent.
Good.
Maybe we would do that. We'd be like coders, little nerds in the back.
I think I've decided as well that we're going to have an upstairs and a downstairs. I feel like if we don't do it, first off, we'll regret not having done it.
Just gonna say
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I have plans for the upstairs already.
I'm
I've
sorry.
told the plans. I've said the plans. The plans are in action. The plans are out in the ether.
The plans are for peanuts.
No. That's for another place. The old staff room.
Unfortunately, we need the upstairs and the downstairs. We need the space.
Okay, I'll give you that if I can have 4 vending machines.
Right. Your 4 vending machines take up an entire room. Why do you need vending machines?
That money. How do you think we're going to get on holiday? Like, obviously we're going to use the American Express points, but actually spending money. Going to have to get that money from.
How long is this intro so far?
Currently 16 minutes. Excellent. Let's get to the point. Sorry, guys. Jesus Christ. Cheese and toast. All right. So we're going to talk about how and what are the expectations of a nail tech if you're working with a brand.
Yeah, so we're talking about options of working with brands other than in a content creative capacity where you are getting paid to create a piece of content. So you're getting paid a flat rate to create a piece of content.
So let's talk about 3 options and we'll break them down.
I think there's only 2.
Let's talk about 2 options and we'll break them down.
Okay.
Flat fee, affiliates, and gifting.
Okay, so there's 3. Yeah, but we're not talking about flat fee. We're talking about any other ways.
Okay, but we have to break down what a flat fee is.
Okay.
The premise behind a flat fee. Do you want to go into this piece of content first? Or do you want to wait until after the flat fee?
We'll wait. So in terms of a flat fee, it is literally as it says on the tin. So you have a rates card as such, and you decide how much you want to be paid or you expect to be paid per piece of content that you create, whether that is a picture, whether that is a video. Yeah, very, very simple.
And is this something you should set out in advance of, or if a brand approached you, would you be expecting them to
If
say,
you want to be a content creator, it's a good idea to have that.
Okay. Say, for instance, you content creation is not really on your scope of things. You just enjoy really doing great sets, but you also are quite talented at filming, etc.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother with that then.
If someone, for instance, if Neil Order had come to you and said, I'd really like to get you on for like a videography thing.
Like do a collaboration.
That's what I'm trying to say, thanks. Would you turn around and just bash out a number, or would you say to them, well, what do you normally
Well, if
pay?
the brand approached you, I would hear them out and hear what they had in mind.
Okay.
If we ever approach somebody, we have something specific in mind, we'll tell you what that is. But we also expect the same from others. Something that does happen to us quite a lot is people approach us and they're like, so I'd like to work with you. I'd like to do such and such with you. Like, well, not I'd like to do such as, I'd like to work with you. And it's like, we'll reply saying, what did you have in mind? And they're like, I don't really know. It's really not helpful. And what you're doing is sort of creating a lot of work for us.
Yeah.
If
you do reach out to a brand, go in with a good solid idea, pitch deck is called in the industry.
Yeah. Is it in the industry?
in any industry.
And advertising.
Advertising. But for instance, if we go looking for funding or if we go looking for anything at any point in time, we have to have some sort of business plan,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that is essentially a pitch deck.
Yeah.
Pitch deck. So if you're going looking for somebody to pay you, that's technically funding, have a business plan in place.
Yeah. So if you were going to create a rates card as such, you've got to work out how much you're happy to be paid for whatever you're doing. So if you're just doing a picture, it's obviously going to be less than a video. You've got to work out what is reasonable for you, as in what is fair for you, but also what is fair for brands. Like we have seen varying rates cards. I can't even tell the variety in terms of price, from just people underselling themselves to people way overselling themselves. And I know we're in this era of like know your worth and stuff like that. And I'm going to come on to that a little bit more, but don't cut off your nose to spite your face. The fact of the matter is that very few people are probably worth £3,000 for a 60-second piece of content, a reel or whatever. Like that's just pie in the sky. Absolutely crazy. Like how many people are getting, and I know to create that 60-second piece of content, that might take you 4 hours. £3,000 for 4 hours work. I mean, come on now.
I think I'm just going to put something out into the ether and hopefully people pick this up and just think about it. As a brand, we are limited by budget.
Yes.
And it doesn't make a difference how big your brand is. Your budget does vary ever so slightly, but you always have that in the back of your head.
Yes.
And one of the things I always have in my head is, how much am I paying for that to potentially flop?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could put out a stunning piece of content
Oh
that
my
you
God,
get for
I've
free.
seen it 100 times.
That you get for free, or you make for free, or you put your heart and soul into it, and it flops.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok is one of the worst places to like. It will demoralize you in a second.
Inevitably, every single time Laura says, this is going to do amazingly, I've put so much work into this piece of content, it's fantastic. Every single time it doesn't.
Yeah.
Every time.
And you can see it just tear it apart. And the things that I can remember putting videos that are TikToks out, you don't expect are going to do well. And all of a sudden it's 10,000 views, 20,000 views, 30,000. There was one you did, I think, it just got to like 70,000 views overnight. And you're like, why?
Why? I know, it's just nothing.
I remember when we had a video go viral on TikTok, Neil Order, one of the girls had not long started and did a funny thing with you and Jennifer in the background. You guys didn't know what was going on.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Million views.
Oh yeah.
Million views.
It was much easier back then on TikTok because it was so much less saturated and it wasn't all about selling walking pads like it is now.
Walking pads?
That's all I see on TikTok.
Walking pads?
Yeah, you know those treadmills that are just on the floor without handles. But
the one we seen at the house the other day? I'll tell you about that then.
It's called a walking pad.
Right.
Thought
it would be called a crap treadmill. Anyway.
It is a crap treadmill. Like imagine running on that. That would like terrify me. But apparently CP has one.
Yep. And
he just goes out and watches his programs and just walks on it. Crazy. But yeah, that's the thing. You know, as a brand, like Chris said, you have a budget and you're weighing up a lot of different things. You're weighing up the budget. Is it going to go well? There's no guarantees. And I think the thing is, if you come in with a rates card, don't be and your prices are really high. Don't be offended if a brand says no, because, you know, whilst you have what is your worth to you, a brand is the same for themselves and what something is worth to them and what their time is worth to them. And it's not saying that your work isn't good enough or anything like that. It's just saying that your budget doesn't fit the job for that brand at that time. I think it's really important not to get sort of insulted by this type of thing. Similarly, if a brand approaches you with an offer and you think, oh no, actually that's really low, I think my time would be worth more than that. Nothing wrong with going back and negotiating and saying, actually, I don't feel comfortable with that. This is more what I was thinking.
Also, I think set expectations is always a big thing. For instance, if a brand approached you, I'm just going to, I don't know, let's put out a number. A brand approached you and said, I'd like to give you £100 for a 60-second video. And you think to yourself, actually, between filming, editing, and everything else in post-production, also give you 3 or 4 iterations of that video. You might want different angles, etc. It's going to take me 10 hours. £100 is not worth 10 hours.
Well, so I mean, if a piece of content is taking you 10 hours,
I'm just trying to do quick math.
Yeah, £100, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go back and explain that, actually that brand might be like, oh, 4 iterations of that video that I can maybe use at a future date. Okay, that's maybe worth, say, 400. Does that make more sense? You know, so expectations and explanations is all.
And if you're trying to work out what you should be charging, you literally need to work out, if you're a working nail tech and you want to work out how much you should be charging, work out how many clients you'll be sacrificing.
Yep.
That's the best way to go about it.
Sacrificing or side hustle.
Yeah.
So let's get on to affiliate.
Let's do gifting first, because affiliate schemes is the bigger sort of more point to this episode.
Okay, so let's get on to gifting. As a brand, gifting to someone for content.
Gifting is such a big topic in the industry. It can be a bit gross to speak about. But what I'm going to say is the way that we at Nail Order do gifting. The way that we do gifting is completely on a no obligation basis. So if we gift somebody something, we put no obligation on them whatsoever. We aren't paying them a monetary fee, and we don't think that it would be right to ask anything specifically of them. Really, the only thing that we don't ask of it is we would appreciate if you acknowledge that you received the goods.
Yeah, because if you don't receive it, then like, what's the point of us sending it out? We can reclaim it.
If it's radio silence, we've sent something out, and it's radio silence. As far as we know, it might have got lost in the mail. So it would be really nice. And to me, just common courtesy when somebody's given you a gift to say, I've received everything. Thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to trying it out. If there's no further information from then or communication, it's a shame. But more often than not, there is. But we don't put any obligation on anybody when they have been gifted something. However, I have heard multiple stories about brands gifting things to people and laying out exactly what they want in return for that.
Is any small product worth that?
I think there's two ways to look at it. Number one is if you came to us and said, hi, I would like to create some content for you in exchange for some gifted product. That's different, because
100%.
That's not a brand approaching you and asking you to give up your time to do something for them. That's you saying, I want to sort of push things out. I maybe want to start dipping my toe into the content creator water. And I know that I'm going to have to do my time and do some free stuff really to begin with. That's completely different.
I think also, just touching on that before we got off topic, is the fact that you can use that product again and again.
Yeah, of course.
So you can do the content with it, but if you're working nail tech, you can use that.
Yeah.
And you can gain money from that in different ways.
But if a brand comes to you and they reach out to you and they say, we want to gift you X, Y, and Z, but in return, we need you to do 1, 2, and 3. That personally doesn't sit very well with me. Because you're not paying them for their time. So I can remember a nail tech telling me the story not all that long ago. In fact, they told me the story at our last event. And a brand had reached out to them, and they had an upcoming launch, and they were gifting them some products, but in return, they wanted them to do this specific thing. Now, they were doing this for a lot of nail techs. So a lot of nail techs were being gifted these things, and they had to do a certain series of things, make a certain amount of content, and post specific details in the
blurb.
What's that called? Blurb.
Lost it as well.
Oh my god! In the
caption.
Jeez, yes.
Louise.
So they worked out how much time it's going to take them to do it, and worked out, it was going to at least cost them a client's worth of time. So they replied and they said, unfortunately, I can't do that for free, but I sent a rates card, and at the time it was going to be £60, which I think is crazily reasonable.
That person, if I recall, is quite well respected.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, well known in the industry, really nice person, creates great content, works with lots of brands.
Gives good hugs.
Yes, gives good hugs. And then ultimately the brand, I don't know if they ghosted them, or anyway, it certainly didn't come to anything anyway. But yeah, I think it's just bad taste to say, I'm giving you something, but you have to do this for me. Gifts don't pay bills, right? As nice as it is to receive things for free, they don't pay your bills. And if it is using up the time that you would otherwise be spending earning money to pay your bills, that's a time trade-off.
I get it. But we had the boutique towards the end of the tenure. I used to get the girls to contact many celebrities, many influencers, and we would send out an outfit of their choice. And the caveat would be to post it. We left it very general.
I will say though, clothes content and nail content are two incredible, because to put an outfit on takes 30 seconds.
I know. So the general consensus was to make it as genuine as possible, but we gave them no time scale. And that was one of our downfalls. Because of fast fashion, which we don't really agree with, which is probably one of the reasons we did get rid of it. If you sent something out and that person didn't post it for a month, that had already sold out in the boutique. It
I
made
know.
no difference at all.
I know, it was silly.
It did give us a name, like people go, oh, that's the name of that boutique. I'll go back to them. Oh, it's sold out, but then get other
But again,
stuff.
because we weren't paying them, we couldn't really specify anything. So if we went back to do that again, and you were talking about, again, maybe mini influencers, you were gifting them £100 worth of clothes. I think it's very different in that type of world, like like clothing influence, because it's fast. Like, have you not seen the crazy like Chinese lady that does the live streams on like 1,000 phones at a time? And she just like brings a piece of clothing and like holds it up against the body and throws it off to the side, and it's 3 seconds per item. It's flipping crazy. But yeah, there's so much less that goes into taking a picture or even doing a flat lay, just to take a flat lay picture and tagging them on stories than creating a piece of nail content.
But what I think has happened is people have seen that happening, because I think everyone is, regardless of what type of person you are, you're always kind of into fashion. Everyone wears clothes. So you tend to gravitate to fashion. You probably see people, influencers, wearing stuff, and it does appeal to you. So I think what probably has happened is nail brands are looking at that and thought, we can do the exact same. But you can't, because it's a nail tech's bread and butter is doing clients. Whereas this person might have a full-time job as a PT at Pure Gym, and they just do this on the side. I think that's where the difference lies, and I think that's where boundaries have been crossed.
Yeah, I think it's the expectation of it's just a piece of content, but that content requires a lot more work to go into it than in that industry.
Yeah.
So I would really think about it as exciting as I can imagine as it would be to be a nail tech, especially a newer nail tech or a nail tech who doesn't yet have a bigger following or stuff like that. For a brand to reach out to you and say that they want to gift you something, you're probably not even barely reading the part where they have expectations of you, or even if you are, you're not sort of computing that, and it's only when you come to do it that you go, oh crap, I could have done a whole set of nails or 2 sets of nails in the time that it's taken me to do this. So as I said, super exciting, and I completely appreciate that, but just think about what's being asked of you, if anything's being asked of you. Like I said, nail order, what we do now, and that's the thing, like as people and businesses and brands, we grow all the time, and I think the way that we are doing both like PR and the affiliates, just PR in general, I think is respectable, and I can sleep at night knowing that we are being fair to people.
Before we go into that, we used to have brand ambassadors. No, we don't.
Yeah, so we did a whole episode on this previously. Go and check it out if you haven't already.
But a link popping out maybe top left. I remember that. We no longer have brand ambassadors or brand angels we had, and we moved on to affiliate marketing scheme.
Yes. Now, I'm just going to, before you keep your thought in your head, because I just want to jump in and say this, right? So we were doing some active PR last week and the week before because we have some new staff members in the marketing team. So we were teaching them how to do it. Okay. So first things first is you're looking for people to send PR to. And the type of PR we were doing is literally people just to trial our products. It wasn't, we're not looking for people with big names or whatever. It's just trialing our products, getting products into people's hands. And so many people we wouldn't approach or couldn't gift to because they are brand ambassadors for other brands. And while we were doing it, was it Laura who said, see, this is how being a brand ambassador can really hold you back in your career. Because we wouldn't, whereas another brand might think to reach out to that person, we just wouldn't.
What's happened recently?
What do you mean?
An employee.
Oh yeah, that actually has happened with an employee recently from another brand. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But yeah, we would never cold contact a nail technician who is visibly a brand ambassador for another brand. It's a bit icky, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's icky. Like why would we do that? They are obviously proud of the brand that they're using. They've got it in their bio. Just leave it. And the thing is, some of those brand ambassadors that we're talking about, the type of ambassador scheme that those brands have, it's not like a very close one. They maybe have hundreds or if not thousands of ambassadors.
Of a cuticle oil company that used to be in competition with us. The way they were signing people up was you can be a brand ambassador.
Yeah.
And you had to put it in your.
It wasn't
link
like
bio.
It wasn't like a special thing. It was just like pretty much anybody could be a brand ambassador.
Yeah. They just got a slight discount on the cuticle oils.
But having that in your bio might be holding you back because it might be stopping brands from reaching out to you with opportunities. That might not just be gifting opportunities. That might be content opportunities, all sorts of things. So again, something to really put into people's minds. I do genuinely believe that brand ambassadorships are dead. I can't ever see us going back to it. When I really think about it, I think maybe it's a little toxic and maybe it's a little cliquey. When we did it, we tried to do it in the most positive way we could, in that it was never based on the following that you had. It was based on your dedication or your loyalty to the brand. Like, you really loved the brand, you really loved the products, and you already shouted about it.
They already shouted about it.
Yeah.
So it was an easy transition.
Yeah.
To go from a customer to a brand agent.
Yeah.
As we call it.
Somebody who was really invested in the brand and really passionate about it. But I just don't think there's a place in this day and age for it. And people get really, really hung up on it and think it's really, really important and the be all and end all. And it's really not. And I think ultimately it's probably holding people back from opportunities. I know that there was a lot of people there that we didn't reach out to because of it. So
It's funny that I was looking at numbers this morning for the podcast, and that is one of our most successful on audio format.
Oh, can you see how many people have downloaded each episode?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. But yeah, I think if you've not listened to it, go and listen to it again. If you are a brand ambassador, just have a think about, do you think it is the right thing for you? And if it isn't any more the right thing for you, it's absolutely okay to approach a brand and say, I think I'd just like to be free and try some new things. It's not saying that you don't love the brand anymore. It's just you want some freedom.
Sounds like a breakup to me. We were on a break. Anyway, so let's go on to it. So we changed over to affiliates.
Yes.
So do you want to give a brief overview as to what an affiliate is?
So an affiliate, just in the general term of the words, or how it is generally used in the industry, generally it is a nail technician or a lash tech or whoever it is. They will have a code. And every time that code is used, the customer using that code will get a discount. And then the person who's issued the code, the affiliate, will get a kickback.
That's what it's all about. It's about it benefits three people. So it benefits the brand, it benefits the affiliate, so the person who's giving out that code, and it usually benefits the end user. So for instance, if you use one of our links down below for a credit card, we get a small kickback. But you, more importantly, tend to get an elevated sign-up bonus.
Yeah,
for example,
exactly.
you get something beneficial for it. In the case of, for instance, nail techs, it's normally a discount code you can use.
Yeah. So the piece of content that spurred this sort of episode today was somebody, she's a content creator, had put up a thing saying that she is completely against affiliate programs. And the reason being is that they are essentially making you do work for free with no guarantee of any sort of remuneration, so any guarantee of any sort of payment. And, they're pitching it as a mutual benefit, but really the only people that are benefiting are the brand. I've got to say, I'm completely against everything that is written in here for the most part. Now, I'm going to say this as from the point of view of Nail Order, and I know that our affiliate scheme is empowering, is super fair, and pays back the affiliate extremely well, and way more than they would get for
a rate card,
a piece of content, and for the rate card piece of content, right? I can say that because I can see the figures right in front of me.
Of course.
And the way that we do things. And I'll talk about that a little bit towards the end. Now, as I don't have personal experience with other ones, so I'm sure there are some out there that are a little bit...
But it's like everything.
But it is like everything, yeah.
Everything in the world, you have good and you have bad. You have fair and slightly unfair. If somebody says to you, I'm going to give you £200 for a video that's 30 seconds long, you're like, great, you spend 4 hours doing it, you send it over to them like, actually, I don't need that anymore. That's not fair, but you didn't sign up to a contract.
What I will say is that in general terms, our affiliate scheme is a little bit different. So we do have one obligation that we ask, but I'll explain why later. But generally, with affiliate schemes, there will be lots of affiliates. There'll be hundreds or if not thousands, depending on the size of the brand, of affiliates. All their codes will be active all the time. And more often than not, all you're really doing to get any kickback is putting it in your bio. And the more you talk about it, the more of a kickback you're going to get. So the more work that you do, the more money you get. Now, it can definitely be argued that you're doing the work anyway, because if you're creating the content for yourself, and all you've got to do is tag the brand to get a little bit more money back, then to me, where's the harm in that? Where I don't think it would be right is if it was just an affiliate scheme and they are making lots of demands of you in terms of the content that you have to create. I think that it should be a lot more organic, to be fair. So to me, the fairest way is if you are already a nail technician, lash technician, whatever it is, you're already creating content, you're already using that brand, and you're 9 times out of 10, you're probably already tagging that brand. Then all you're doing extra is writing for 10% off, use code Rebecca10 in
That's
the
two keys.
in the caption. Like, how
a
is that?
no-brainer.
That's not what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a no-brainer.
But they're not extorting you. Not extorting, what's the word? They're not taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
That's not taking advantage. So in this piece of content that the content creator would write, I'm going to guess that from this that they've maybe had bad experiences themselves.
As soon as you see that type of thing,
Yeah.
I instantly think to myself, you've had a bad experience. So if it were me, I would explain my bad experience first.
Yeah, but they haven't. But they have. There are some things that are, I would say, factually incorrect here, right? So they've said that the brand will get 90% of the sales. So I guess we're assuming here that it's on a 10% kickback commission, right? The brand will get 10% of the sales you make, and you get 10% commission of the sales you make.
That's not good math. Discount code.
Correct, right. So if the brand gets 90% of the sales you make. No, they don't, because if you're using an affiliate code and you're getting a 10% commission, you've also had to give a discount to the customer, right? So say the discount of the customer is going to be at least 10%. So the brand...
It could be 5% to then 5%.
In this one, she's used 10% of the sales. You get 10%.
Okay, so yeah.
So automatically, the brand's not getting 90%. There's 80%, right? I just want to, just from a brand point of view here, right? Things aren't that simple. You don't get 80% of the money, right? You've got to take into consideration the cost of the product, the tax, all the employees that you employ, overheads, warehousing, etc., etc., etc. So you've already given away 20% of your profit.
Of the turnover.
Of the top line, actually. Of the top line.
Let's break it down. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to use statistics. 100% here, right? Your 10% you've given to your 10% discount code, 10% to the affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, bear in mind, 10% discount code, obviously £100, £10.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's work this out, right? So they say that when you sell a product, right, that you should price it by 3.5 times the amount. That's the sort of, okay, let's say 3 times just to make it a thing. That's just in any sort of buying a product, selling a product, or wholesaling. That is just the baseline. It's not to say that happens. It's not to say that actually often it's a lot less than 3 times, and then sometimes it's a lot more than 3 times, depending very much on the item. So like, for instance, when we're selling merch, not even getting double a lot of the time, right? And then, of course, on top of that, we have our warehousing costs, we have our staff costs, we have all the overheads of the business, we have the tax, et cetera, shipping, so many other things, right? Let's just say it is 3 times, right? So let's say that this product, so 30% of the sale is the cost of the product, right? They've given away 10% to the affiliate.
Let's just do a £100 product. That makes it simple math.
Okay, right. So I'm going to write this as I do it, right? So it's a £100 product. Let's say it costs £30.
Well, you're going to give 10% off.
You're giving 10% to the affiliate. Right. This maths ain't going to math exactly, but just to have it so it's clear. And then you're giving 10% off to the customer, right? So now you're down at £80. Remember the 3 times rule? So the product costs you £30.
Yep.
Okay. So we're down at £50 already.
Yeah. Based on taxes, warehouse staff, etc.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be another £30.
Oh, yeah, I would say probably another £30.
Okay.
Maybe not as much as 30, maybe say 25.
You're doing 30%. That's the way it works, honey. Yeah. So your profit out of that should have been £30, but you've given away 10% to the customer for a discount and 10% to the affiliate. How much is left?
10%.
Yeah. Oh, it's £10, honey. It's like
it
works out about £10.
So that's the thing. Like, this math ain't mathing. Yeah, they get 90% of the sales you make. Well, no, they don't.
90% of turnover. Yes. Okay. Kind of technically, but out of that, when you break everything down, because we give away that on profit, not on warehousing.
Yeah, exactly.
Warehousing doesn't go, actually.
So to me, if you're getting 10% is a very, very, to me, very impressive kickback, right? If you're getting a 10% kickback on a sale, to me, that's a lot, right? So you've not had to do the R&D, and you've not even put into the R&D, the time of the R&D, right? So yes, the product cost you £30 to physically buy it, but that doesn't take into consideration the R&D. So you're saying that my time, so say Rebecca, I am in charge of research and development, right? My time is worth 0? Is my time worth absolutely nothing for researching the product, developing the product?
Testing the product. staff time.
Is
testing
my
products.
designer's time worth absolutely nothing? That
the
she's had
packaging.
to design packaging, design everything. Is Laura's time worth absolutely nothing for marketing the product? Is BJ's time worth nothing for putting it onto the website and doing the web development stuff around it? Is Jennifer's time worth nothing for creating training courses around it? Is the staff's time in the warehouse worth absolutely nothing for packaging it up? So it's honestly that it really got my back up. I'm not
I
gonna
can
lie,
physically see that.
because I'm like, you think that the brand, it's as simple as that. That's as ignorant to me as somebody. There was a girl on a TikTok recently, and I commented on it. She was getting a hard time from people because customers were like, "Oh, well, you're charging £35 for a set of nails." Well, this was the sort of gist of it. You're charging £35 for a set of nails, but the bottle of polish you're buying only costs you £17, and you'll use it on hundreds of clients. That doesn't make any sense. So is her time worth nothing? So you're saying that, yeah, the product is just a tiny amount of the cost, but her time is worth nothing. She doesn't deserve an hourly wage. By saying that the brand is making 90% of the sales, not only have you forgotten about the 10% discount that your customers got when they've used the code that you've got the kickback on, you're saying that none of their overheads exist and that none of the staff's time is worth anything.
It is.
To me, it's personally insulting because I'm like, well, then the research and development alone, that's worth nothing. And I think a lot of people forget about that.
What people have to understand, the whole premise of working is trading time, your time, for money. That's all you're doing. You're trading your time for money.
And I hate to tell you guys, in terms of nail order, my time has been traded for zero in terms of financial gain personally up until this year. This year, I only just went onto the nail order payroll in
January.
January. January or December? December was the
You had to. Yeah, for
December was the first one. That was when I went onto payroll for
so
nail
you've
order.
technically been working for 4 years, 4.5 years for free.
Yes. And I did my brows to support Chris and I financially.
Kept man, guy.
So yes, I worked for nail order for free. So my time was to me worth nothing. But it would be nice to think that customers would see some value in my time that I have spent researching, developing products that I think are pretty good, you know?
Yeah. It is, when you were discussing this the other day, I just thought to myself, that is someone who, it's kind of like what we were talking about in the gym the other day there.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go into the gym and they're laser focused on themselves, getting themselves in for a good workout, focused, and back out.
So they can only see how something is affecting personally themselves. So for this person, you know, personally, an affiliate scheme doesn't work because they think that maybe from personal experience, the amount of money, the kickback that they've received has been really small. And I completely understand that. And the time that they've spent creating beautiful content is worth a lot more. I completely agree. I completely see where they're coming from with that. But it sounds like maybe the affiliate scheme that they did was not the right one. But to sort of say that you're completely against all affiliate schemes when there's fantastic ones out there, which we'll come on to talk about ours and how financially it's been, certainly in my opinion, my goodness, me personally, if I'd made that money from doing the amount of work that I put in, I'd be
super proud.
I'd be really, really happy and really proud.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's kind of really unfair because actually by putting out content like this and saying don't do any affiliate schemes, you know, I'm against them, you might be holding nail techs back from what could be really excellent financial opportunities that actually might earn them enough money to pay their mortgage for a month.
Okay. So we'll go on to that in a second. But if you think you may want to become an affiliate for a brand, what's the best step to reach out to get noticed? Is it something where a brand will reach out to you?
Well, it very much depends on the brand that you're talking about. I can't talk for how other brands do things. Like we talked about earlier, other brands, there's some brands that their sort of affiliate schemes, it's almost something you can sign up for. I have seen that as an option where you can go onto websites and you can sign up for things and you can get your code. That is completely on you. If a brand hasn't approached you, they haven't asked you to do any particular content, they haven't done you anything at all, what have you got to lose?
What have you got to lose? But I'd also taper your expectations, because if you can do it, then hundreds of thousands of people can do it also.
Absolutely. And you've got to keep that in mind. The more people that are on as affiliates, the less money you are going to make because it is absolutely saturated. So if you have a smaller following, it probably ain't going to do anything, and you're probably going to be lucky to see £5 to £10 a month coming back through that. Is what I would say. I can remember, in fact, one of the microblading needles that I use, they have one that you can do. You can sign up for, but there's no requirement. You're just sharing your code to obviously get the word out about them.
It's kind of like, again, I'm just using American Express as an example. They curve the amount of affiliate codes that you can give out. I think it's per year.
Mm.
You know, because they don't want to just give out billions of points, but they want you to reward you for shouting about the brand. You know?
But also, yeah, it oversaturates things,
Yeah.
and it dilutes the success of others. So people aren't going to be empowered or want to use them because, well, they're not really getting anything back for it, which I completely get. You know, if you go to an effort of doing something, spend your time doing something, you should get rewarded for that appropriately.
Yeah.
So shall I talk about ours now?
Yeah, I just want to say that I like your thought and opinion on things. You can see it from both sides of the coin, which I think is a great way to just look at life in general.
Mm-hmm.
The article you're reading there, I think is very narrow-minded.
I think it is a little narrow-minded, and it's not to say I don't respect this person and things that they do are great and then they're not excellent, but I do think, and again, the narrow-mindedness might come from their personal experiences, but it's really important to try and look out with your personal experience, especially if you are writing a blog or an educational piece on something.
Yeah, because if people read that, they think it's gospel.
And as soon as you do that, it's bias, and it's not, it kind of loses it loses its integrity. And it doesn't really say anything at all. So you kind of have to broaden your horizons and look at things from both
Two aspects.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of the most successful podcasters, YouTubers, and everything else always give you two sides of the coin and let you make up your decision. Sometimes they give their personal thoughts and opinions at the end. We quite often do that.
I like to think that we do that. Like we try and give, for most part, like
sometimes I'll
most
just
story.
say I hate you and I don't agree with anything, but I'll back it up.
Yeah. It's like what you were saying though, going back to what you were saying about the gym. Chris and I were talking about it yesterday when we got out of the gym, and Chris was particularly talking about it because, well, I started it and I was like, does it not really, really piss you off when you're waiting to go on a machine? You see someone just sitting there on their phone on a machine. Because I'd said, if we took away people's phones at the gym, I know they wouldn't have music, right? So I know there's flaws to this.
I know you can play
people's,
watch.
Yeah, if you have that, I don't have an Apple Watch. People's time in the gym would be expedited. Oh my God, so much. I reckon people would be in there for at least 20 minutes less than what they are, right?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse when you see people sat on a machine between reps. Now, I'm sorry, you don't need to be 5 minutes between reps. What are you doing? Right? Ridiculous. Just sitting on their phone.
Especially when you're built like Pee Wee Herman. Come on.
But what you're doing is you're not thinking about how your actions are affecting anybody else. When I am in public, I always like to think about how my actions are affecting other people. And I just try and be as unannoying as I possibly can. Chris said, why don't you do that at home?
I was going to not say that, right? But anyway,
You did say
I'm just
it.
saying things like the way you drive, the way you conduct yourself, the way you walk down the street, stuff like that. If you just try and always be aware of other people.
Be aware and just try and make your impact as little as possible on somebody else. The same way that your impact on the environment, you should make that as little as possible. Just in general, everything that you do, your personal impact on something where the impact may be negative should be as little as possible, right?
But the reason I was talking about the gym thing is I went to go on a machine and a telephone was using it. A mobile telephone apparently was using it.
Apparently.
So I looked at it.
As they see AI, it's come so far that they now need to do exercise.
And I thought, guys, it's doing reps. And I thought somebody's left the phone there, but I didn't want to touch it. So what I did is I wiped down the machine, and then this guy came over. He said, I'm using that. And I said, but you were over at the other machine. He said, I'm using that. And I said, but you can only use one machine. I said, I'm just coming back to that one. And my face probably said it because he did quickly use that.
I wish you'd said, so you're using two machines at once.
So basically, the gym is quiet as well.
It was.
You know? So he did quickly use the machine that I wanted and cleaned it and went on his business and everything else. But I just thought to myself,
see if you're that self-absorbed. I said this, just get your own gym.
Yeah.
Build your own gym. But
Or go at 3 a.m. and there's nobody there.
But yeah, that's what, in the way that this relates to what we're talking about in terms of this piece, it's try and look at things from other sides' point of view, like look at things from the brand's point of view. I just think that any like blogs and stuff, it goes back to what we were talking about last week in terms of where should nail techs get their information from. And this is often the problem with influencers and things like that. They only speak about their experience. They don't try and sort of rationalize from the other side. It's a one-sided thing. I guess we're kind of lucky in that we have been working nail techs, working salon owners, and now we own our own brand. We try to be as fair as we possibly can. And Laura, our marketing manager, is incredibly
She plays devil's advocate all the
yeah,
time.
and she's very much for the people person.
Yeah.
So everything that we do, both Laura and I have a very strong sense of fairness. That's to do with neurodivergence. Like it's something within us. It makes me so angry. Like hypocrisy is like my absolute number one thing I can't stand. And that's your biggest downfall, Chris. But anyway.
Jeez, Louise. Right, what's this we're talking about? Affiliates before we go home and I knock you out.
Yeah, so I'm now going to talk about our affiliate scheme and how I think it is so positive. I think it is such an excellent opportunity.
I just want to say something, right? I don't do much with this business. I'm just here for I just bring
shits
the
and
guns.
gigs.
I just bring the guns.
What? Sorry,
I've not
guns?
been. Anyway, and sometimes I am what you would call the money man. Up until recently, because we've got another money lady, and I used to have to pay people.
Oh yes, you did.
And so you can see where I'm going with this. And I remember when we started the affiliate scheme, I'm like, they earned how much? You're saying at a mortgage. I'm saying at a mortgage of the house we want to live in.
Yeah, you're
Not
true. You're true.
just
Yeah,
the
you're true.
mortgage
You're right.
that you live in a 2-bedroom
Some
apartment.
affiliates have earned 2 months worth of mortgage for sure.
Right, go.
So the way that we do our affiliate scheme is that we will approach people, but we will specifically approach people who already have an affiliation or tie to the brand in that they use the products.
So it's genuine.
Even if it's just in a very small capacity, or maybe they've done some work for us, something like that. That is how it will start. It isn't just plucked out of the blue. Secondly, we work with affiliates on an exclusive basis. So that individual has 2 weeks where they are the only affiliate code that is running. And we are also, Laura is very passionate about ensuring that we don't step on affiliates' toes in any other ways so that we're not running like discount codes ourselves at that time. Like we're not advertising any special codes.
Or sales or anything like that.
Yeah. We'll do some things, but it won't be something that will impact their like code massively. So we try and impact them as little as possible. We try and give them every single opportunity that they can to earn as much money as possible. The next thing is we do have an obligation, one obligation only, in that they should create a piece of content, and that will be cross-posted. So they'll do a collaborator post. So they'll post it on their grid, and we will have it on our grid. They'll ask us to be collaborators.
Does that have to be video or can it be a picture?
That will be a video. We will also provide them with the products required to create that piece of content, free of charge.
So there's no money out of their pocket to begin with. Just time.
Nope, just time. It doesn't have to be like a crazy piece or whatever. It's just a piece of collaborative content, and that is to launch their code. We will then advertise that on our grid, advertising their code. So that is 70,000 people on Instagram seeing the code. We'll put it on our group as well, our Facebook group. So that is kickstarting it massively. So that is loads of people seeing that there is a discount code to use. So that's it. We also provide them with an informational booklet, which has all of the information that includes the requirement, so that one piece of content and what they can expect from us. And also hints and tips on how to maximize their code. And also we'll say like how much money other affiliates have made, so they have an expectation. Now it's really important to first premise what I'm going to say in terms of the amount that could be earned by saying that how much you can earn is going to be directly tied to your presence. Now, your presence doesn't mean how many followers you have. It just really is how many people are seeing your content and the type of people that are seeing your content. You could have tens of thousands of followers, but they're not nail technicians that are buying products.
Yeah.
Whereas you could have 2,000 followers and those people are all nail technicians that are buying products.
Looking for recommendations.
Yeah. So it's very, very different. How much work you put into it is going to be directly attached to how much money that you earn. So it is completely within your, it's completely up to you. So we've seen affiliates earn up to £1,200 for over a 2-week code. And the only thing that they had to do was one piece of content that they shared to launch their code.
That was the main thing that you required from them. But they could make more content.
They can make as much or as little as they want. They can do that one thing and then they can do absolutely nothing else. And essentially, we're doing the work because we're advertising their code. And anytime somebody contacts us and says, is there any discounts on right now? We will provide their code.
Because that's the only one that's active.
We have the educator codes as well, but the educator codes are for a lesser percentage. But every single time somebody contacts us by private message or whatever on the group, we will give that code out as well. So we are actively promoting their code for them. So I guess it's not a traditional affiliate scheme, because traditionally brands wouldn't be actively promoting.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to give a discount code out because I'd rather have that extra 10% in our pocket as a company because we can do more with that 10% than giving it to someone else. But at the same time, encourage someone that might spend a little bit more, or they might have never bought from us before, and all of a sudden they are.
Yep.
You know,
It might just be what that person needs to make the purchase.
Yeah.
It's not great. Like having loads and loads of discount codes as a brand is not good because it obviously really, you've got two options. You have to, you tighten up your profit or you charge more. We don't want to charge more. So that it's always a discussion, isn't it?
Constantly.
But yeah, so we've seen affiliates earn up to £1,200, and that was on a 2-week code that was exclusive to them that they only had to create one piece of content for. That was it.
One thing you guys talk about in the office quite a lot, especially when we're talking about affiliates, etc., is the following that you have really doesn't matter because
At all.
One of the most successful has one of the least amount of followers.
Yeah, and we've talked about this a couple of times before in different episodes. So yeah, it didn't play any part. It doesn't play any part at all. And very similarly, we could see people with the biggest followings earn less and earn the least. We have seen that too. But what is really important to understand with affiliate schemes is there is no guarantee.
Things that you have outside problems, situations as well. February, for the most part, is quite a quiet month, just in general, because a lot of people just don't have money. They just spend less. So if your code's in February, you're probably
we will
do
try and
less.
time us. For instance, we won't have an affiliate scheme that runs. There's certain times of year that we will leave those spaces open because we know that they aren't going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Around
about the Easter sale, you're not going to make
Easter sale, Black Friday, Christmas, and if there is one of those times and we do offer out an affiliate thing, we might extend it so they might get an extra week instead of the 2 weeks. Whatever we're doing, we are trying our very best so that nail technician can earn as much as they want from it. And what I said earlier was in terms of they've given us a rate card for that one piece of content, they were never going to be charging us £1,200 for the piece of content that they created. They weren't, maybe they'd be charged £150 or something like that, and they've earned all of that more money. So yeah, I think we've had people before that have turned around and said, oh, no, I'm not interested in an affiliate scheme. But like I would do it on a rate card thing, and honestly, I know in my heart of hearts that they would have earned a lot more than their rate cards. But because we can't guarantee it, we can't say that we can't guarantee it.
Just like we're saying figures right now, maybe a mortgage payment, etc. It's not guaranteed. It really just comes down to what happens on that day, that week, that month. Mm-hmm.
And how much effort you're willing to put in. But yeah, I think ours particularly is very lucrative for the nail technicians. As I said, I can see the numbers right in front of me, and I would be happy with any one of those payments that I can see in front of me, even the ones that are a lot less than £1,200 for the amount of work that is required to put into it. When I say required, what we ask.
Really good. So if someone did want to sign up to be an affiliate, just message Laura.
No,
on Instagram.
No, do not message. Our affiliate scheme, as I said,
is it booked out for like 6 months?
Yes. Number one.
Wow.
And number two, we do sort of hand pick people. The thing is, we're not going to ask somebody to be an affiliate if it's not going to work for them. And it can be really, I'm going to tell you guys something, right? It can be really, really uncomfortable for us if somebody who's an excellent customer and they're an excellent nail technician comes to us saying, oh, I'd love to do your affiliate scheme. And we have to say no and things like that, because there's so many more things to it. We don't want to put you on that and it doesn't pay you a decent return, and then you're left feeling jaded towards us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That is the very, very last thing we want. So we will pick people based on very specific things. As I said, it's not necessarily the following at all. A lot of the lower following ones have had some of the best results. But if you're a nail technician who has, let's just take some numbers. Maybe they've got like 1,100 followers on Instagram, but they don't have a huge engagement from other nail techs. We can see the comments like below is mostly like customers, or there isn't a lot of comments. you're not going to get a good result. And it's not saying that your nails are rubbish, because your nails might be absolutely insane, but it's just that this particular scheme is not going to pay out for you, and it wouldn't be fair. We don't think it would be fair.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think what you maybe don't see from being a customer internally here, people like Laura have a trained eye. They can look at just your grid in the first 9 pictures, and they can work out what your kind of type of following is and stuff like that, just based on the comments, etc.
Based on the engagement, based on everything, we will look through followers, all sorts of things.
Other tools as well
Yeah.
to see your engagement, etc., your rates.
So it's not just simple as you use the products, your nails are great, perfect, you can be an affiliate. Because if it's not going to work for you, the last thing we want, as I said, is for you to end up feeling jaded towards us and feeling like the person who wrote this article feels. We don't want that. So it means saying no. And that's why with our affiliate thing, it's not an open thing that you can apply for. It's something that we will reach out and ask you to do.
Okay, so going back to that article, we'd say there's a lack of fairness, but we've tried to give both sides of the coin. What is fair in our eyes and what can potentially be unfair. So if you were thinking about becoming an affiliate, what sort of steps would you take?
Just in general with any brand? Yeah, so if you're thinking about joining an affiliate scheme, no matter what it is, I would say think about what is expected of you and what the potential returns are. Understand that if it's very easy to join an affiliate scheme that anybody can join, that your returns are probably going to be very low. And also think about the fact that with an affiliate scheme, generally how much kickback you get is directly tied to how much effort you put in. Not always, because it can, you might find somebody else who puts in a lot less work and earns a lot more money. But the quality of your following in terms of the industry that you are targeting is very, very important.
Okay. I think that's quite a good pod.
Yeah.
I didn't really know a lot about it. I did say to you, should we get Laura on this because she do affiliates? But I think
she gives me pep talks before, don't worry.
But I think you've covered it. Okay, so on that note, do we have anything to do today? What's going on today? Can I just tell people this morning? Becca made breakfast.
I did.
I've been really good this week. I've not stepped away from the path of true righteousness and healthy eating. Rebecca made me a toasted sandwich, bacon, haggis, and probably one of the finest things in the world, a bird's eye hash brown.
It was
sponsored.
2 hash browns.
2?
There was 2 in it.
Done in the air fryer. If you've never tried them, go try them. And if you've never tried haggis, what the heck have you been? It is delicious, especially in breakfast. Some HP sauce. It was delicious. I keep thinking about it. This is why I'm telling people. So I don't feel like I have to eat the rest of the day. That's like the most I've consumed in one meal.
See, I'm the opposite to you. If I veer off the path of cereal for breakfast, which I did today, I am hungry. I'm hungry now. I'm hungry within moments. And the cereal will be a lot less calorie dense than what I just ate. But it just doesn't keep me going. Don't know why.
One thing I was thinking about, I need to finish it in a pod, but we went to a house this week. And would you say that going into it, you were like, I'm not going to like that house in any one fragment of my body?
No, because I like the pictures of the inside.
Okay. And how was the viewing?
It's very good.
Okay. Do you want to take the puppies to walk that we would take them on if we lived there today? Throw them in the car and take them? Just to see. Like test, when you go for a car and you test drive it, and we don't, we just get it delivered. But you test drive it and see if you like it.
Okay.
Maybe we could.
Okay.
On that note, honey, I'm sorry. On that note, everybody, thanks for putting up with us and listening to our plans for the day. Honey, do you want to get us the heck out of here?
As always, guys, if you enjoyed that, please give us a big fat thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and let us know in the comments below what topics we should cover next.
Soon to live alone Sunday, all the tea getting spilled. Nail text, talking game, keeping it real, y'all gon' feel. From the signs to the drama, every secret they reveal. Stay sharp, stay tuned, man, you know it's the deal.